Hello everybody and welcome to a little bit of something different. I wanted to start doing some Dead by Daylight lore. There's a lot of lore to discover in the game, there's a lot of lore to talk about, and I feel like it has a lot of untapped potential that I'm sure many people have done, but I wanted to kind of take my hand at it as well. But I didn't want to start right off the bat making lore when the game has had so many negative issues. I wanted to kind of talk about some of the bad that's been going on recently for a game that personally I have a lot of hours in and I do enjoy, but I figured we would talk about the elephant in the room first before I just went into the idea of making lore videos and pretend like nothing ever happened. The game has been running pretty horrendously lately, with there being a huge bug. Huge amount of bugs, matter of fact, not even just one, but many. And the fact that the community had to practically fight their way to get it kill switched, all the while there were other things that were already getting kill switched. As of the time of this recording, this is already fixed. But this is not unknown to behavior. I've been around playing Dead by Daylight for a while. I know people who've played it even longer. I've seen people talk about this. It's not unusual for behavior to mess up repeatedly. And so it's something that I wanted to talk about. For one, the issue that has gone on so recently with the new update of the Walking Dead patch. But let's start. Hello, folks. We have followed your conversations very closely about the state of the game of late. We agree it's not in the place that we would all like it to be. Recent releases, including our most recent, have introduced frustrating new issues which have distracted from your enjoyment of Dead by Daylight. We wanted to acknowledge this and let you in on the steps we'll be taking to resolving these issues in the short and long term. The next steps. Along with posting this message, we are kill switching the following perks which currently have issues: Streetwise, Blood Rush, Last Stand. So I haven't been playing this particular patch due to the issues, but from what I understand, Streetwise has had the biggest issue where you can just straight up dupe an item. Not dupe, but you can give it like infinite charges, which if you're not familiar with the terms, the best way to put it is every item has a certain amount of uses. Those uses are charges. Streetwise was able to give an item infinite amount of charges by picking it up and putting it down and picking it back up. Apologies. I'm not familiar with Blood Rush and Last Stand, but again, these were issues that the community has been screaming about, wanting people to fix, wanting behavior to fix, and they've only have just now kill switched it for, I think, like a couple hours, 14, 15 hours, as of the time of they posted this. And then tomorrow, August 6th, we are releasing a hotfix to address a number of issues introduced recently. This hotfix will address the issue related to Streetwise and Last Stand, but we agree we should not wait any longer to activate the kill switch on them, and are doing so now. It took them until basically the very end when the community was outraged to do something about it, which is horrible. It's horrendously negative. We will also make small adjustments to fog vials, decreasing base fog opacity and the volume of ambient fog audio. Another huge issue for the new update. They released a new item, fog vials. Again, I haven't played against them or with them, but I have seen gameplay, I have seen people's complaints. Terrible, to say the least. Another hotfix is underway, scheduled to follow next week. Among others, the hotfix will address the Blood Rush issues you are currently experiencing in the game. Fog vials also will be adjusted to add a limit to their uses in trials, moving away unlimited uses. Which again, is because they were getting blatantly abused. Processes overhaul. As a result of your feedback and internal discussions on the same topic, we'll immediately be rebuilding our internal kill switch process to be more nimble and better account for community sentiment. We understand you have an expectation of this tool that doesn't match how we have been using it and wish to improve upon this. It's so strange that they haven't really jumped on this sooner, but again, that is a common thing with behavior as of recently. They kind of just shove things out and hope that it kind of just gets shoved under the rug, and you know, the fans, the players just kind of eat up the new update, have fun, and then ignore it. It's a very common cycle that I feel like has happened very recently in the community, And hopefully with this more negative thinking, which sounds bad, when you say it out loud, that we need to be more critical and negative. But I think it's putting a company on accountability. It's to the fact that this is a huge company that has had multiple deals with AAA names. They should be put on account and should be held to a standard a little higher than most. Once we've settled on a new process, we will clearly communicate criteria to trigger a kill switch to make sure your expectations are better in line with our actions. Finally, we wanted to address the commands made by the team about the kill switch, and Streetwise, we apologize for how these comments dismissed your feelings about the importance of quickly addressing Streetwise and further fanned the flames of an already tense topic. We're grateful for your feedback, which helps us identify places where we can improve and reevaluate our processes, changing course when it's need to improve the Dead by Daylight experience for all. As a live game, we know this conversation is ongoing and we appreciate you for being a part of it with us. It's great that they're getting people's thoughts and opinions. It's always great to get. The problem is that they're not listening to people's thoughts and opinions. They're doing this to shut people up, which, again, is a terrible thing to think about. That the game that you want to spend time in, the game that you enjoy, the game that you like to play, though admittedly, sometimes it can be a little hectic, is all around just generally not caring of your time. It doesn't care about your time, it doesn't care about your wallet, and it doesn't really care about you being a player until you get angry at it and start boycotting it. Again, I'm a huge fan of the game. I want to say that. As much as I sound like I'm being very critical of the game, I'm being very negative, very mean, however people would want to put this. I'm a huge fan of the game. I love the idea of the game. I was one of the few people to jump on board when the game launched, as much as I might not be a huge player now. But all in all, we have to take accountability, the fact that they're not exactly listening as much as they say that they are. They only listen when everybody shouts in unison about doing something. To put into perspective, though, this is some of the issues that have been going on, and there are priority bug fixes. This is the 9.1.1 bug fix patch, which, as of this video, this should be long out. People should already be experiencing this. Though let's be honest, again, as I've mentioned earlier in this video, there's just going to be another issue. And this is one of the many issues. The game is going on this fast track to nowhere. It's almost as though the developers are laying down the tracks as they're going. They're not taking the time, even though there was supposed to be a project to help the maintenance of the game that they mentioned doing during the Five Nights at Freddy's update, I believe. Again, I'm sure there's more knowledgeable people on this than me, but I do want to talk about the lore. But again, as I reiterate, I don't want to talk about the lore and pretend that there isn't a problem in the game. I want to also talk about the game itself. So let's go into some of the things that 9.1.1 bug fix patch goes into. Priority bug fixes fixed an issue that often caused killers to be unable to initiate a chase for the rest of the trial. That was an issue going on during the Streetwise situation. Fixed an issue that caused the chase music not to play when a chase was initiated. Fixed an issue impacting chest item charges with using Streetwise. Fixed an issue impacting vault speeds with using Last Stand. So yeah, I'm unfamiliar with Last Stand, but I think I do remember seeing somebody talk about this where yes, vault speeds would be faster, and so hitting people was obviously much harder. Fixed an issue where the Walking Dead theme was unaffected by the copyright music settings. Not super important, but is pretty annoying if you're a streamer or YouTuber. Fixed an issue where both survivors and killers could be slowed down when running up the right-hand side of any staircase. These are the kinds of issues that I find ridiculous. This was all caused because of one update. One update of The Walking Dead somehow made it so that you can't run up the right-hand side of a staircase. Fixed an issue where the Behrman Uraz Masquerade musician outfit had the incorrect name and voice lines. I think I remember seeing this where you were basically pay to win, because I could be mistaken. I saw a video where there was an outfit. I think it's this outfit. Somebody can let me know down in the comments if I'm wrong. I do apologize. I should do a little bit more research. There was an outfit where you wouldn't scream. You were getting like Iron Will for free. And that, again, hugely negative. Doesn't make any sense. It's a weird bug. Fixed an issue where the Deathslinger's aiming animation was missing from the survivor's perspective. Fixed an issue where the be chased for 20 seconds quest in Into the Fog would not progress. Fixed an issue that caused a black screen when attempting to spectate for the second time after returning to the tally screen. A few of these are very minor, but again, very annoying. Again, people want to do these quests. That's a huge thing now that they've added. They've completely butchered the old way of doing it, and they've gone for a more newer, streamlined way. Content. The Streetwise and Last Stand perks have been re-enabled, which again, as of August 6th, this has already been applied. Survivor item Fog Vial. Decreased base opacity of the fog to 33. It was 40. Not super major. Decreased the fog cloud volume by 3 dB. NB, this does not refer to audio within the fog area, only the ambient fog audio. Fog Vial add-ons. Potent Extract Visceral. Decreased visibility by 5% was 10%. Again, they're just making it easier to see. Bug fixes. Audio. Fixed an issue where lobby ambience audio was occasionally stacked. Fixed an issue where the sound effects were caused with hovering over match management. Fixed an issue where the scream sound effects occurred while the survivor had their mouth closed during the Lich's Mori. Fixed an issue where Rick and Michonne Grimes were missing certain voice lines, which I know was another huge complaint. One of the bigger complaints, which I think they addressed in a previous patch, is Michonne was very loud with her breathing or her grunts when she was injured, I think. To go over all the fixes and bugs that they are doing for this patch, it goes on for quite a while. It's a pretty lengthy list of fixes, perks, environments. There was a beam that loaded in that everybody's just been calling, I think it was Jim, Jim Bean or something. I can't remember the name, the meme. It's been floating around. If you're a part of the community, I'm sure you've seen it on the Reddit pages and things like that. It's so strange. It's very strange. I don't understand it myself, but I do want to cover this game. And I figured that this is a good way to basically start. One, the fixes that they need to do need to be a little better. The things that they need to do need to be a little improved. I don't think that's much to ask for. But maybe it is. Maybe I'm being hypercritical. Let me know down in the comments. What do you think? Is this something that you would expect a game that's pushing well over 9 years? It's gone on for quite a while. This is a 9-year-old game. Lots of patches have been added. We have Tokyo Ghoul, Tomb Raider, Five Nights at Freddy's. There was Hellraiser, The Walking Dead now. There are so many of these huge names and titles, Castlevania, things like that. And yet the game feels like it was made yesterday with no effort put into it at all. It is a very strange place that we're at in the game. I want to end with these closing thoughts, though. One, I hope people that do play this game are being a little bit more hypercritical about it. Or at least, you know, like a loving parent. They're not being upset, they're not shouting, they're not yelling, but they're just disappointed. And they express their disappointment a little bit more readily so that behavior can improve a little easier. But I also want to raise up the question of what would you all like to see next, both in the game and the lore for Dead by Daylight that I will be talking about. I talked about the bad here, but now I want to get into the good. And so for the future episodes, hopefully we upload these on Monday, I want to talk about Dead by Daylight. What are some killers that you would like to see first being talked about? Or maybe some of the survivors? Maybe just some general lore, like certain characters that haven't really popped up. Let me know down in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts, especially about these updates, these bug fixes and patches, about the whole situation. I'd love to hear your opinions, your thoughts. If you'd love to see more about this kind of stuff, just me covering general game news or things like that, that's interesting too. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this as well. Hopefully I see you all in the next video. See you then.